We're on the road heading east. We're going out to Coolgardie and Kalgoorlie. That's where gold was first found in the 1890s. Word got out that there was gold to be found. People came from everywhere. Consequently, the population grew from 50 odd thousand to 180 odd thousand people in a matter of years. That created a problem. There wasn't enough water for the population. There was a solution, and the solution was build a pipeline, and that's what they did. They built a pipeline from Mundaring Weir, located near Perth, to Kalgoorlie, a distance of 566 k's, and the pipeline was completed in 1903. So as I just said, when the Mundaring to Kalgoorlie pipeline was completed in 1903, the water problem was solved for the Goldfields. But how did the early explorers, the prospectors, and the people looking for land to develop as farms get out to the east in those days? Well, just to backpedal a little bit, York was the first regional settlement after Fremantle and Perth, and York was settled in the early 1830s. In the 1860s, government commissioned Charles Hunt, a surveyor explorer, to build or to establish a track from York heading east to the Hampton Plains, which is the Kalgoorlie-Kambalda area. So he was asked to establish a track with strategically located wells or waterholes or dams. This is Yerdanie Well or Dam, well number 21. If you've seen my earlier show about Hunt's wells, I visited wells 1 to 5. We've skipped 5 to 20, and this is Yerdanie Well 21. So we can see here that Mr. Hunt's well is strategically located between the two granite rocks. They act as a catchment area and funnel the water straight into his dam there. That's his typical standard design. The well is at the base of a large rock which helps catch the water. This is a second well at Yerdanie Rock, and the experts believe that this is not one of Charles Hunt's wells. This one has been established by somebody else. There's a website called the Explorers Wells and Track Project, a very detailed site. That is where I'm getting my information from to visit Charles Hunt's wells. It is a very detailed site, and I recommend, if you're interested in some history, have a look. This well is in poor condition, but you can see the large granite rock about 30 metres away, which acts as the catchment to fill the well up. We're travelling between Yerdanie Well 21 and Gnarlbine Well 22, a distance of about 36 k's. The Explorers Wells and Track Project team have been out here clearing this track to make it possible to travel between wells 21 and wells 22. They're doing a great job preserving the history of Mr. Hunt. Here we are, 10 k's from Gnarlbine Rock, and there's a tree decorated with files. My initial thought was it's an early filing system, but just over there and there are lots of tin cans, which suggest to me this was possibly a log timber cutter's camp at one stage, and these are worn out files from sharpening their axes or other tools. Just over here behind the trees we have Gnarlbine Rock. We drove from Yerdanie Rock to Gnarlbine Rock on the track directly across. Some fabulous sign work helped us get between the rocks. There's a plaque here commemorating the Gnarlbine soaks, and the plaque was established by the Historical Society in 1950. And over here we have a fabulous example of one of Hunt's rock-lined wells. Mr. Hunt was first here in 1864. He came back in 1865 and constructed this well. This one is a very nice well. It would be about 3 meters across and 3 meters deep. We're on our way to King Battery. We've got to the turn off, and the sign says no unauthorised entries. So we're heading out to Woolgagie to speak to someone out there to see if we can get clearance to go down to King Battery and Slate Well. We are at King Battery, about 45 k's south of Kalgoorlie on Woolgagie Station. This battery was operating in around 1902, but it only operated for a couple of years. It was a 20-head battery. This structure is the remains of the tailing wheel. It's made up of brickwork and stonework. It stands about 9 or 10 meters tall, and if you look up there you can see the axle of the tailings wheel. Now I'm not exactly sure where the 20 stand battery was, but my understanding is this was the tailings wheel, a big water wheel type of arrangement, transferring most likely a slurry from this level up to a higher level for further processing. Over here we have lots of stone walls. Maybe that was the actual battery. I'm not really sure, but it's interesting. I've decided that the battery must have been located in this location, right here. Positively, definitely, maybe. Now we're up top looking down. The tailing wheel is over there. I thought the battery was over there. I'm not sure what this is. So bottom line is, that's the tailings wheel, and that's all I know. We just had a look at King Battery. That was very interesting. Now we're going down to Hunt's Slate Well, which is down towards Kambalda. It looks like the Hunt's Well Hunters team have located the Slate Well adjacent to this creek. They put a plaque on it, and there's also a wooden post which has H1 on it, which suggests that it was Hunt's post number 1. It is in extremely good condition if it is one of his. So it looks like they located the wooden post, and also there's several slate rocks around, which is what Hunt used to form up his well. So there's rocks around, which it looks like they're only in this area, so it looks like they've had a find. The weather was a bit cooler today, so we thought a nice lunch would be toasted sandwiches. So we've just lit a fire, and we expect to be on the road again in less than half an hour. That is wonderful. Wonderful. This is the dam at Woolgangie Rock. The rock is a couple of 100 metres over that way. They've built a drain and lined it with rock, channeling the runoff from the rock, the water runoff from the rock into the dam. This was probably built by the public works, possibly back in the steam train days. Boorabbin Rock is just over there, only 50 odd metres. The sign in the tree, the coordinates I have for Hunt's Boorabbin Well 18 indicate that this pile of rocks is all that's left of Hunt's Well. So once again, someone has built a low rock wall at the base of Boorabbin Rock, funneling the water into what was possibly a low-lying piece of ground, the original creek, and I'm guessing it funnels it into the Boorabbin Dam, which we're about to confirm, which is all on the opposite side to Hunt's Wells. Boorabbin Rock is over there. It's a massive rock, a lot bigger than the rock we just came from. And there's this massive drain that has been made to channel the water into Boorabbin Dam. When the dam fills up sufficiently, there's an overflow and the water flows into a secondary dam. We had a busy day today, but I'm happy with the output. Our last well we attempted to get to was Cruawally, but the road was closed for some reason, so we didn't get there. When we plan these trips, it all looks very easy in the office, planning it, but when we get out here, we've come across fences that we didn't know were going to be there, mine sites we didn't know were going to be there, water pipes across the road. All adds to the fun and the interest. Some of the wells have been absolutely fabulously constructed, and some of them are unfortunately in a state of disrepair. We're 13 k's north of Yellowdine Roadhouse at Duladgin Nature Reserve at Duladgin Rock, and just over here is Duladgin Rock Well. Duladgin Rock well is not one of Hunt's wells. This one has different construction. It is timber lined, a bit like a mining shaft. Not far from Duladgin Rock is a lonely grave. Been here since 1895. Time for breakfast on the road. Bacon and egg pie. Very nice. This is a cairn on Yerdanie Rock. We're about 8 k's eastish of Duladgin Rock. There's a couple of wells here, not Hunt's wells, but at this stage we haven't located them. Look at the colour of this tree. It's more like a sculpture than a tree, a piece of bronze or copper or something. Fascinating. This is another fine example of Hunt's wells. This one is located at the base of Yellowdine Rock. It would be maybe 12 feet in diameter. When it was built it was 16 feet deep, and at one stage it had water 12 feet deep in it. When the well was built, they dug a drain somewhere across here. It looks like you can see a slight depression where it possibly was, to funnel the water from the rock into the well. When Mr. Hunt was establishing his wells at all the various locations, he often had to dig numerous holes to find a well that would produce water and sufficient water. Here at Yellowdine there is one of those test holes about 80 or 100 metres from the well. That is a 160-year-old hole. Well, we're on our way home. As usual, it was a great trip. One thing we've noticed is the condition of Hunt's wells varies from excellent to ruins or non-existent at all. But that's not surprising because the wells are approaching 160 years old. If you'd like to see more of my Hunt's wells trips, have a look at some of my earlier videos.